Hey, it's Jack from Alpha Charts with the State of the Market video. Today is July 22nd, 2023. Before we get started, this video is for informational purposes only. These are not recommendations to buy, sell, or hold any stock or security. I may hold positions in some of the equities mentioned. Know your time frame and risk tolerance. Before we get started, too, one more announcement. I'm on Twitter at AlphaCharts365. If you don't follow me there, please do. If you haven't liked and subscribed to this video, please like and subscribe to my YouTube channel. That all helps me immensely, keeps me doing what I'm doing. If you really like my work, you'll find me at AlphaCharts365 on Twitter, and I do have a subscriber group there. I give a massive amount of content throughout the week, from videos on special stocks to watch video that's pretty long, a focus list video. I do high tech flag work, so I help identify some of those, the strongest names in the market, really. I do multiple market nodes throughout the week. I'm actually going to be starting to trade indexes, right? So if you just want to say, I just want to trade the SPX, I'm going to do a swing trade the indexes where I would buy and sell, hold. Again, none of that's in real time, so I just want to be clear there, but it'll be posted after the market closes, mostly because I don't want people just following me in. I want them to really learn and feel how I trade. What else do I do? I do scans every night. My favorite scan, which has been an amazing tool to tell us, to give us ideas, to tell us when things are getting overheated. And I do so much more. So if you're interested in all that type of content, check me out at AlphaCharts365. Click on my name, click on subscribe, and it's super easy. I want to give you like immense value, keep you on the right side of the market and the best names possible. And honestly, I mean, it's for $10 a month. I mean, it is a super. I mean, it's less than a fast food meal, so it's a great value. And if you don't like it, you can always unsubscribe, right? So there's really very little. There's no like long-term contract or anything. It's month to month, right? So you like it, you keep it. You don't like it, it's not for you. You don't keep it anymore. All right. So check it out at AlphaCharts365. Let's get to the video. S&P 500 SPX. Came into supply here, and now it's finding some issues up here, right? Now, this is an area we thought that could cause it some issues, and we're seeing this pullback. So the pullback hasn't been severe, at least not yet. We'll see if it continues or not, but we're still above all of it, the rising moving averages. So as of for now, my guess would be we're just in something like this or something like this. Right now, we're just something like that. Again, we'll see if it we will see if it continues or if it doesn't. But for now, it it doesn't look terrible, right? So on the week, we had up 0.69, but you see the pullback right there, right? You worry that it could be the start of something like this, right? That's the concern. We're not there yet, but you see up 0.69. The equal weighted was up 1.35. I think that is a major difference right there, is that the equal weighted being up greater than the cap weighted. That's, I think, a positive, right? That speaks to maybe a rotation out of technology and into in mega caps, and maybe into just other names, right? I know there's a rebalancing coming out for the Nasdaq, a special rebalancing, and I don't know if that plays a role into it or not, but I can say that I like the RSP being up more than the S&P. It has not broken out yet of this area, so I think that's a big deal. I think we want to see it move higher potentially, and if it pulls back, then that could be an issue. But we're just gonna keep watching it for now. Gotta say, not doing anything wrong. Again, the Qs were down for the week, down 0.91%. That's a weekly chart. On the daily, you see it just kind of got a little bit extended and came back in. It did break the 9-day, which is a little bit different than S&P 500. But as the 23-day is still intact, so 371, the next general area that I am looking for. But overall, looks pretty good. Still an uptrend, right? Still an uptrend. Maybe a little more cautionary though on the Qs. Actually, you know what, before we do that, let's go back to the weekly. It was down, what was it, 0.91? And the equal weighted Qs was up 0.84. So there you go. That is definitely something that I'm interested in, right? The equal weighted Qs, again, there's a big rebounds going on in the NASDAQ, so that's I'm sure going to play a role into it. But I still like the equal weighted Qs are up and the cap weighted are down. Trying to break out, could not yet, right? It's right there though, and maybe a potential move higher there. So overall, you can't get too bearish when equal weighted Qs are outperforming. Looking at IWM was also up 1.53. It's an equal weighted index. It did pull back at that 200-ish area. It was at 197, 198, whatever it was. But it's right in that area. Maybe it comes up and busts out. But right now, it's just range bound. Again, constructive price action, but just range bound. On the daily, you see it came up to the area and just kind of sold off on decent volume. So that's, I won't say it's a concern yet, but it's just something that I'm watching, right? Does it sell off to, high? That's a lower high. This potentially is another lower high, right? I want to see it at least take out this high and really take out that high. So let's look at the mid caps. Let's just be complete here. Mid caps, again, general area, found some potential resistance. Technically not doing anything wrong yet, right? And it was up 1.22 on the week. So again, another solid week. Just did find that resistance right at the prior place where it has numerous times in the past. All right, so all that looks, again, pretty good. Short term extended, short term overdone, longer term. I don't think we have, on the index level at least, too much to worry about. Let's look at some of the ETFs under the surface. XLF, again, in a strong uptrend, hasn't done anything wrong yet, right? It's participating. Let's look at SMH. So SMH, if you want to be concerned about a chart, it's probably SMH, right? Because it tried to break out and it failed miserably. And now we have an issue here, right? Houston, we have a problem. That's a problem. And I think we need to be able to retake that fairly quickly, and that problem goes away. If this continues lower, then I think market could have a little bit more issues, especially technology, right? I think technology can be in big trouble if we see this continue lower. I guess the next, if it breaks this area, 145-ish, and then we could potentially drop, who knows, 200-day, 125-ish, whatever the 200-day is at the time. So I'm watching the SMH. I think that's a big deal. Looking at the equal weighted, it looks similar enough, not at a point of contention, but similar enough. And I think, could this be a false breakout for this area? It's possible. So I'm definitely want to watch these two charts. You see they were down 1.25. That's on the equal weighted, right? And when you look at SMH, the cap weighted is down almost 2%. Again, on the weekly, you see it very clearly how sellers keep showing up right in this area, and nothing has changed yet. So I'm a little more concerned about SMH. Let's look at transports. That's XTN. Again, strong uptrend, not doing anything wrong as of yet, as of this week. Let's look at housing, ITB. A pretty nasty day right here, down 2.64%. So that may be a take notice day. And we'll see if it can recover real quick. So you have two of these indexes. You have the semis and you have home construction now with some potential issues. Again, they're not overwhelming yet, but they're starting to show up on the charts. And so I'm taking notice, right? We'll see what happens. Again, we saw a pullback here. Now we're seeing this pullback here. Again, I got a little more bearish over here when I saw this happen, potential false breakout. Then it zoomed higher and quickly, and I like that. We'll see if this can zoom higher quickly, and that'd be positive. But if it can continue lower, 82 is the big area, right? It's got to hold 82. Let's look at XHB again. So it's ITB, XHB is the other one. Again, very similar look. Now, XHB was right at an inflection point, and it failed. And so we'll see if it continues lower. Right now, doesn't look terribly alarming, but it could turn into something. So again, so maybe on the ETF level, a few cautionary looks to it, right? Now let us take this off and that off, change that to a line chart, and let's look at the VIX. VIX was under 14 last time we checked it, and it's still super low, right? I mean, that plays into a bullish scenario. It's low until it's not, right? Which we know from, I mean, it hasn't been this low since, 2020 pre-COVID, right? So that's pretty good. And again, you see it could stay low for a while, I mean, then spikes up. That was a big spike, but could stay low for quite a while. And these spikes are, this was down to under 10, right? So don't think that it's too low. I would call this a bullish range. But there will be spikes along the way, right? Shakeouts. HYG, again, if there was a major event coming, I would expect HYG to start pricing it in. This is IEI divided by HYG, right? So it's government bonds divided by high yield bonds. And this tells us risk on versus risk off, right? It's risk off if it's going up, it's risk on if it's going lower. And we're still in a range, but it's definitely not spiking up, right? Like this would make me more concerned. This would make me more concerned. This doesn't make me very concerned at all right now. We'll see what happens. What else do we have? Put call ratio, right? So equity only put call ratio. Things, they're on the bullish side of the tape. There's no doubt, but they're not extreme. And on the bullish side, things can potentially stay extreme longer than you think. So it's these spikes, the bearish side, that gives you more data, to be honest with you. But again, we are leaning on the bullish side, and that happens in bull markets, right? Let's look at the dollar index, because the dollar index can throw cold water on the rally very easily. We are back over 101, so that's something to consider, right? A rising dollar back in this range, maybe a false breakdown here. So if we go to the weekly, we could probably see that a little bit more clearly. This was an area that could have been important, and kind of went down, spiked back up. I mean, the much bigger area will be this 103 area, right? That's the big area. But right now, again, nothing too concerning. If it continues higher, it could be an issue. We'll see, right? But that's something we're watching. The TNX, the 10-year yield. The 10-year, I mean, not really spiking, did move a little higher into the screen zone, but nothing that makes me too worried. Still under, 4.1, 4.2-ish area. So not doing anything wrong yet, right? Nothing too cautionary there. And let's look at the copper gold index. Futures, copper futures versus gold futures. And again, it's not plummeting. We know that. It's kind of just in this area muddling around. It did retake it, which I like to see that. It falls back below. That could get me a little bit more bearish, but overall, not there. So let's sum it all up. I think there's some cautionary pieces to this market. I don't think that it makes sense to be bearish yet, but depending on how things work out this week with FOMC on Wednesday and with mega caps reporting this week, that is going to be potential, market moving events, right? One way or the other. But I think the FOMC though is already priced in. So I don't think that's going to be, unless they do more than 0.25% raise, or they indicate they want to raise more in the future, right? So overall, I think time to be maybe a little bit cautious. Hopefully you took some profits this week. I know I did, and I'll be looking potentially to get back in some names as long as this holds up. All right. Hope you all are having a good week. Don't forget stocks to watch tomorrow. I give that out for free to everybody. I do a special one for my super follow group. It's about an hour long or so. And I do so much more. So again, don't forget, if you're really interested in my stuff at Alpha Charts 365, click on subscribe. I think you'll like it. I think we have a nice group going there. And again, thank you all for watching. Take care and good luck this week.